and you'd obtain surveillance video images from, let's say, a business or a house. Okay, I want you to focus on that. I heard you say today that you did that for the vault, the studio vault, when you watched the 10 cars go. You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't say I did it. I said investigator Dennis did.
Okay, you didn't see you didn't view the...
I viewed it, yes.
Okay. Now, in 2015, that's the date I'm focused on, were there different types of memorializing or capturing of the images whereby some business can hold the data or the images for 30 days, some would hold them for a year, some 15 days? Would it just depend on the particular product that they used?
I'm not aware of any, I don't have any technological background or things to obtain video to know how long a particular system holds information.
Okay. How about this? From your experience, though, could you get a video, let's say that you were investigating something that happened a month ago? Would you go to the scene where there may be a video camera and see whether it holds the 30 days or more? Have you been able to capture that type of distance, that type of time?
I've investigated cases where sometimes it holds it for 30 days, sometimes 3 days, sometimes a year. It's all dependent on that particular system or if we're talking about a specific investigation.
And when the system, we're talking about hold the images, at some point, because of storage, and if you don't know, just say, I don't know, the storage, sometimes some images fall off. It's too old to keep on the storage. Is that your experience?
I'm not an expert in technological video expert extraction, so I can't answer that.
Let's not talk just from your experience. Is there a date where it just can't hold? The people tell you, well, you find out it's too old. The data won't hold. That's what I'm asking you.
Objection foundation.
I'm asking on her experiences.
Overruled.
If you ask me if video has been overwritten, is that what?
Sure.
Basically what you're asking me? Yes, I've heard of that, yes.
I think so. Okay. Have you ever dealt with a system that after, let's say, I'm using an example, 2 weeks, all the data is overwritten?
Objection, vague and relevance as to a system.
Overruled.
When you mean dealt with a system, what do you mean?
When you're investigating, or your own system, but have experience that all the data is gone 2 weeks from that day, it's all gone, then it just starts brand new? Or is it more of a rolling system?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Let me ask a better way. I'm just using dates, okay? January 1, 2015. I'll use 15. There's a business, McDonald's.
Okay.
It holds the image. I'm making all this up. Holds the image for 2 weeks, January 14th, 2015. Okay?
Okay.
Have you ever had experience where on the midnight going into January 15th, 2015, everything for the last 2 weeks, in my example, from January 1st forward to January 14th at 11:59 is wiped out and we start anew? Or is it that certain parts of the system and they keep rolling over? It just makes room and you keep adding the days, if you know.
If you know.
I've been told on occasions, a system like I just stated, if it's longer than their saving period or cloud period, it'll overwrite itself. It won't save it. I've been told that, if that's what you, if I'm answering your questions.
Okay, no, that's fine. All right. Let's go back to the surveillance I just asked you about McDonald's. You and Detective Dennis interview Kenneth Copeland, and I'm just focused on the last time, or one of the last times, June 10th, 2015. Okay?
Okay.
I know Detective Thorpe is there, and ATF agents, but from that interview, you and Detective Dennis go down to McDonald's to inquire about their surveillance. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you got the number and the name of the person who, and you gave it to Detective Thorpe, the homicide detective on this case, to follow up.
Yes, sir.
Were you ever told by Detective Thorpe that he had already gone to the McDonald's on or about the 11th or 12th of January 2015 to look at that video?
Objection. That calls for hearsay and relevance as to whether or not Detective Thorpe ever told her that.
They're working the
He
case.
testified, right?
Yes.
Overruled.
I was not told.
Now, you were asked about truly humble under God. You remember those questions earlier today? Or that question earlier today?
Yes, sir.
Tell the jurors and tell us where, in all of your work on this case involving Mr. Williams, and any time where you ever had an interview, a conversation where you asked or someone in your presence asked or someone told you what thug stands for.
That's never been a question asked of me.
With regards to the repost, and if you need to see it, please just tell me. I just have to refresh my
You said the
memory.
what?
Repost. And if you need to see it, we're going to show it to you. January 26, 2015. Mr. Garlington, you helped the jurors see it previously. It starts out with Mr. Williams. I'm not quoting. I think it is a quote, but I don't want to quote. I don't get it. People lie to their kids, lie to their mothers, lie to their, okay. Do you have the number that is? You want to have for just one moment? Thank you.
Are you asking
Yes.
if she saw the pictures then, or if she
Oh.
eventually saw pictures from them?
The second one.
Yeah.
If I eventually saw pictures of them, I believe I have that it was videos or something like that.
Okay. And same question, though.
Yes, sir.
Not as complicated. Rich Homie Kwan, you know who that is, Mr. Lamar?
I've heard of them, yes.
Same thing, performing with Mr. Williams in the fall of 2014, going into January 2000.
You heard of him. You did this investigation and you gonna say you just heard of him? That I ain't even gonna lie, I got a motion for mistrial. Motion for mistrial. Nah, ain't no way this lady could be this involved with YSL and they're part of the opposition. She don't know. She heard of him. What do you mean? You know everybody, family members in YSL. What are you talking about? What?
15.
I don't know of exact dates, no.
All right. Okay. Now, Mr. Zachary told you when we watched it, he told you that
That was dirty.
this was really a battle, whatever word, war with, he called him Woody, but Kenneth Copeland, and he said Shellkel, but Mr. Kelvin Watts. True?
Yes.
And that Jeffrey and Donovan Thomas were friends during this. True?
I don't recall him saying they were friends.
Okay. I'm going to get you some.
What?
Do you know the transcript or would you like to see the recording?
Whatever you want to show me.
Oh. So you was a detective then, but you ain't a detective now. You ain't concerned about the parts that could have informed you more, but that's your job. That's crazy, y'all. Real rap, bro. You supposed to be all knowing of these simple ideas of surrounding the nucleus of what you say this RICO is based upon. Real rap, y'all. Man, listen. How you know the game and you can't play defense? You feel me? You don't know about defense? Oh, you only know half the game. Oh, you can't play? You know how to drive, but you don't know how to park. You can't hold my car, man. You doing? You playing the game wrong, but son. My son. And I call you son because you're my best boy. You're my strongest
Do you
boy.
remember, I'm going to have to find it for a second. Do you remember Mr. Zachary telling you that Jeffrey's not involved in Donovan Thomas's killing?
I believe he stated he didn't know that it happened until after it happened.
Did he tell you, do you remember the prosecutor asking you about whether Jeffrey didn't give an F about Donovan Thomas's death, and then Mrs. Zachary giving an answer? Do you remember those questions?
Yes, sir.
That was actually Detective Dennis who said that Jeffrey didn't give a F. True?
I don't.
Your Honor.
No, we're going to get to
Withdraw.
get the transcript. Immaculate salute.
Dennis said he didn't give no FU blank K, right?
Yes.
And then Mr. Zachary said, I mean, he cared. Like, why did they kill Nut? Like, but then I guess they told him that Nut said it's a go. They really be, and would he really be holding back? Is that what you heard?
Sure. I think we all heard it.
All right. She just confirmed that she heard that boy tell her that Thug asked why they do that, meaning he did not tell them to do it. She agreed that. So look, when Miss Love say that Quindarius Zachary was telling the truth in that interrogation, that means that that part must be true as well, right? Now, I pointed this out yesterday, but it's interesting when Steele points it out, right?
Okay. So when the prosecutor was asking you earlier that Jeffery Williams was, this is my word, insensitive. That's not what Mr. Zachary said, right?
I object to the mischaracterization of anything that.
All right, well, the questions aren't evidence anyway, and he said it was his word, so overruled.
That he was insensitive, I don't recall hearing that.
And it said that, I guess, they told him Nut said it's a go. But would he really be holding back? And it goes on to Woody lies, or little Mr. Copeland, right? Lies to Jeffrey. That's what it's about, correct?
I don't believe he said Woody lies to Mr. Williams.
No, I asked you, was that what he was insinuating? You do agree that's what he was insinuating by holding back information? So that's why Jeffrey didn't know. It was a continuation of what he had just said. Jeffrey asked, why they do that? So his explanation was, yeah, woo, 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 and woo, 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 which is why you understood. Don't play. Come on, don't play.
Okay. Now, with regards to what you know from looking at social media, Jeffery Williams put forth a rest in peace social media platform announcement, didn't he?
What are we talking about again?
January 11th, 2015, very early in the morning, 3 or 4 in the morning. You're aware that Jeffery Williams paid tribute to Donovan Thomas, right?
I'm not aware.
Oh.
You've never seen that posting?
Wow.
Your Honor. The witness has answered, so I object to answered and assuming.
Overruled.
I'm not aware.
Can I refresh your memory with something? Can I show you the posting, or you don't know? You've never seen it.
Your Honor, I object to this.
How can you
Testifying, the
know?
witness said she.
He's not testifying, overruled.
I don't recall.
So you went on the internet only looking for what you was looking for. So you didn't scour his whole account when you were scouring for information to help you fill the gaps in your RICO. Oh, all of these pictures, and we don't have the picture that could mysteriously show you that these boys was actually cool, and you might need a different motive because these boys might not be the ones who smoked him. Wow.
Recall seeing it.
Okay. Have it. Can Mr. Kokomo approach?
For the purpose of potentially refreshing the witness's recollection?
Yes.
Do you think that something might refresh your recollection, Sergeant Gaither?
He can show me, but I don't recall.
No, let's show her so she can say she don't recall. We don't mind. It don't matter. It wasn't a part of her investigation. They left it out, which it could be a key element when they're insinuating that two guys was beefing. So you do this doing a full presentation, PDF, pictures of everybody, multiple pictures, but you leave out pictures that show dudes as friends. Okay. All right. All right.
Can you bring it up? Can you go up? Watch so.
You recognize that social media
Your Honor,
posting?
I'd ask that
Oh.
that question not be the question, but whether her memory is refreshed as to whether she ever saw any
Same.
social. Your Honor, would
Does that
the
refresh your memory?
Does that refresh your memory?
Yes, but not in that context. Context that you're using it for, sir.
Okay, you've seen
Oh.
that posting before?
I've seen that posting on Nuts page before. Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I am moving for the admission of Mr. Williams, number
Your Honor,
42.
I'd ask to approach and I'll
Okay.
tell the court.
Man.
Anybody need a restroom break anyway? No, everybody good? Okay.
All right, see, the problem with this is she trying to break up them, proving that these boys aren't guilty. So that means she's not looking at all information. Why not let these boys bring in information? Why is she being so stiff with it if she want facts? See, that's the difference between the DA trying to find facts versus prove someone specifically guilty. Yeah, they not trying to find out who did it, did not. They trying to frame these boys for it, regardless. They not looking for the best information that solves it. This is crazy. I appreciate all y'all. Tap the like button. Salute to everybody in here. They geeking. Real rap.
I don't recall the exact words, but I have seen the actual photograph before.
Okay, I understand the photograph. Now, have you also read the content that went with the photograph if you saw that as a posting?
And Your Honor, again, I object based on what I stated at the bench.
Do you mean ever? Can you ask that more
Sure.
specifically?
Sure. During your investigation, or tell us at any time, not today, have you seen and read that entire posting before? That's my question to you.
I don't recall what any of the captions stated for the picture, but I do recall seeing the picture before.
Okay, let's put aside the picture just for a moment.
Sir, I just answered that I don't recall the exact words of the
Spicy.
captions, but I have seen that photograph posted to Mr. Thomas's Instagram page.
I understand it. Put aside the picture.
We got a
Have you
tomboy
read- I
salamander.
understand you don't have a verbatim memory. Have you read that posting
Yeah.
that went along with the picture while doing this investigation? That's my question.
Your Honor, number one, I object. The witness has stated that she's seen the photograph on Donovan Thomas's page. She has not seen the photograph in the context that was presented to
How
her.
do we know? This is inappropriate.
Sustained. You may re-ask the question. You overruled. You may answer that question if you know.
On your oath, have you seen the photograph that you already identified, along with that posting, those words? That's my question. At any time during the investigation related to this case?
I have seen the photograph, and I have seen a caption under the photograph. I do not recall what the caption actually stated.
Okay. What you read today from Mr. Kokomo, is that refresh your memory of what you previously saw or read?
It does not.
All right. Okay, let's go to back to the interview on August 5. You were told by Mr. Zachary that when people made statements to him about this murder and who was involved, Jeffrey had already left the condo. True?
Can you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry.
Mr. Zachary told you during the interview that the jurors heard, we watched together, that you were present for, that when Mr. Zachary was supposedly told by people that they were involved in this homicide, Mr. Williams had already left his condominium.
I believe that may be true.
With regards to the bus tour shooting, it's April 26, 2015. Mr. Zachary told you that Jeffery Williams was not involved in that bus tour shooting of the Lil Wayne bus tour, right?
He stated he was not there, yes.
Not there and didn't know about it until the next day.
Correct.
In fact, Mr. Zachary went further and said that Jeffery Williams idolizes Dwayne Carter or Lil Wayne, right?
Yes.
When asked whether Jeffery Williams is the leader of a criminal street gang, YSL, Mr. Zachary said, no, he is not, right?
I don't recall asking that or hearing that.
Let me show you.
Oh, you don't know?
Give me 1 second. Your Honor, may I?
Yeah, bring it.
You
bring
may.
it. She just asked, do you think that Thug ordered that or not? He said no.
Thug ordered that on murder against nothing. I told them just trying to use the name. So there's like no sanctions. If some shit happens, and I'm from Chicago, so you know I know about gang life and all that stuff. So if there's something done,
That's cap. You see how she tried to manipulate him? This RICO trying to form that it's an enterprise or it's a structure, like they got rank. Look, she about to drop the ball, but she tried to mislead a boy who uneducated into believing because she's from Chicago, she knows about gang structure and what happens when discipline is given out. She's lying. She's lying. She's lying.
without quote unquote permission from the higher ups, it ain't no kind of who said so. The
Smoke the RICO. Smoke the RICO.
That's just what I heard.
He the shit. Who the boss then? Who run YSL?
He wouldn't even right when they started YSL.
Who started it?
My brother.
Boom. Smoke the RICO again. That's back to back. Who said thug at the top? Boom. RICO down. Count him out. Oh, he got back up?
And Slug. K-Slug.
He ain't even started. Man down.
What about DK?
They did, because they were around Thug. I'm telling you who started it. K-Slug. And some, like 3 more they friends. That
Tay is his brother.
these people that already grew up together who started. All of them started. And then they, Slug, he loved Thug, so he told Thug what was going on. And Thug just ran with it.
Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
And in that section, that is Jeffery Williams 263 G and H.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a break in there. I apologize, but that was continuous, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's where Mr. Zachary is asked whether Jeffrey ordered the killing of Mr. Thomas, right?
Yes.
And his answer is no, right?
Yes.
And you explained, I'm from Chicago, and that you need permission from higher ups. I'm not quoting you, but something like that. And Mr. Zachary said, who said that his word is thug? I call him Jeffrey, is the higher. Remember that?
Yes.
All right. And then you said, that's just what I heard. And then Mr. Zachary said, he's not the boss. He's not the higher. Something like that, right?
Well, Mr. Zachary went into who started it. Just because you don't start a gang doesn't mean you're not a leader.
Yeah, but Mr. Zachary also told you throughout this entire meeting with you that Jeffery Williams was not involved in the killing of Donovan Thomas. In fact, he learned about it later, right?
Yes, he stated that.
And that Mr. Williams was not involved, as we just said, in the shooting of the Little Wayne bus tour, right?
Yes, he stated that.
And in fact, that Jeffery Williams rented cars for a lot of people, right?
I don't recall a lot of people, those words.
Come on, don't get stiff on me now.
Rented cars for others. Do you remember that conversation? That topic coming up?
Not renting cars for others, no.
Don't get stiff on me now,
Remember
babe.
Mr. Zachary explaining that he and Mr. Copeland were in a rental car together?
Yes, and they spun out on the expressway.
And they got in the crash.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Copeland was the last person Mr. Zachary saw with that car, the rental car. So you want to talk about the Infinity?
No, that's not what he stated.
He didn't say that?
That's not what he stated, no, sir.
What did he say?
He stated that Mr. Williams gave the car to Nard, Shannon, Yak, and Doo-Wop, is what he stated.
What? Oh, you remember that? That's odd. You remember that? The exact quote?
He said that his manager rented the car, right?
Amina, yes.
And that he allowed others to drive the car, right?
And he went along to state the names, yes.
Okay. And also that he would let others use his cars. Did he not say that?
I don't specifically, that one part of it, no, I don't remember him saying that.
All right.
Ah.
The Sprinter van. Remember those Sprinter vans that we talked about?
Yes, sir.
And the Sprinter van, did you do any type of investigation or get any information when they were summoned, hired, rented?
No, I did not.
Okay. And you did know that Jeffery Williams, Mr. Zachary told you, had performances in the state of Florida.
That's what he stated.
And that's why it was already pre-planned to go to Florida around the 10th of January, 11th of January, 2015, 12th of January, right?
He never said anything about a pre-plan.
He didn't say that it was already, people were already going?
No, he stated Mr. Williams had a show or something, and then they all decided to go.
You did
it wasn't a
investigate
pre-plan.
Okay. that Jeffery Williams stopped associating with some of these people a short time after the killing of Donovan Thomas.
What's your question?
That's my question.
You
That's
heard
what
me.
he told you.
No, I don't recall that.
What? Yo.
You remember Mr. Zachary stating that Thug had stopped messing with everybody. Remember that? Do you remember that shortly after the murder? If you don't remember, it's fine.
He didn't say it in that context. Shortly after the murder, Thug stopped messing with everybody. That wasn't the context and what he said.
Give us the context then.
What do you believe the context is?
If you have the transcripts to refresh my memory, I can read them.
Oh
to
my
you.
God!
But
So
that
how
was
you
not
don't
the
know what
context of
context?
it.
What?
Okay.
What? If
Did Mr. Zachary tell you that he doesn't, by August 5, 2015, doesn't speak with Jeffery Williams? You can't get in touch with him?
He stated that he hadn't seen him in a minute.
Up until you left the gang task force in March of 2016.
Yes, sir.
When was the last time Jeffery Williams had any contact with Mr. Copeland, to your knowledge?
I don't know.
How about Mr. Zachary?
I don't know.
Mr. Garlington?
I don't know Mr. Jeffrey's contacts or speaking to anybody involved in this case.
I wonder why. Because he wasn't talking to him.
There was a portion of this meeting with Mr. Zachary and you and Detective Dennis, and I believe Detective Thorpe, whereby Detective Dennis says something to the effect of YSL is a gang as well as something else. Do you know what he said?
No.
I'm going to play this and tell us if you can assist us, okay?
Sure.
Your Honor, this is states,
But it's also a close. Just for
Huh?
do you know what he was saying if you heard?
Now, can you play that again?
So YSL is a gang, but it's also a close. Just for
I don't know what he said.
What?
Now, I'd like to show you, with the state's permission and assistance, states 447Y. And tell me, this is what I asked you earlier that you introduced.
Mhm.
Tell me if this refreshes your memory. You remember this?
This a video?
Yes.
You can play it.
We can play it if you want, but do you remember seeing this before?
I don't recall if you play it. It's just at this point a screenshot. If you play it, I can tell you if I remember it or not.
Okay, play the first part of it if you don't know. Post whiz app
No,
Oh, you don't see
should
that?
be on your screen. Center
it's
bottom.
not on it. Oh, now I can see it. Yeah, now I can see it.
And do you know what that means? Did you do any investigation into what that means?
What means?
Yeah.
What?
Repost whiz app.
I believe it's some type of app
Do you know what repost means?
to repost something on the social media, meaning
Did you ever do any investigation to determine the date or dates that this was previously posted?
no.
Do you know when States Exhibit number 447Y was actually made?
I don't recall.
Do you know whether it was made before the Donovan Thomas shooting?
I don't recall the date when it was made or posted, reposted.
Did you do anything in your memory to find out and look into when was this actually created?
I had no reason to.
How come?
It's not against the law to make a video or repost it.
With regards to your working with Detective Thorpe, homicide investigator Thorpe and the gang unit, including you, are both looking into the investigation into the killing, the shooting of Donovan Thomas and related matters. Fair?
To a certain extent.
And were you kept abreast at times of what Detective Thorpe was doing on the case?
He funny
Not
for
all the
that.
time, no.
Okay. Did you at times keep Detective Thorpe abreast of what you were doing on the case?
If it was something that I felt was pertinent to his investigation, yes, I would tell him if we found out
Were you
new
Go ahead.
if we found out new information that I felt would help him. Yes, I would tell him.
Did you were you aware at and around October 20th, 2015, until the day that you left the gang unit, that Detective Thorpe swore out warrants for Kenneth Copeland for the murder of Donovan Thomas?
Was I aware today?
Relevance.
No.
Overruled.
The day that he did it? No.
Were you aware of it at a time before you left the gang unit?
At some point, I did know.
One more
It
time.
wasn't. At some point, I did find out that he obtained warrants.
All right. And when you spoke with and you interviewed Kenneth Copeland several times, right?
Yes.
And also you looked into his criminal conduct, fair to say? You investigated him, right?
In regards to what?
Anything.
If it was criminal activity or
Criminal activity.
Your Honor, I object as to vagueness.
I'll be specific. You went to his house on June 10, 2015 and arrested him, along with other agents.
yes,
And those agents also were FBI, that's wrong, ATF agents, federal agents, right?
correct.
And you located, with permission, in the car outside his home and Miss Gordman's home, you found some electronic devices, computers, stolen identification, things like that, correct?
Objection, relevance.
Is there relevance to
Yes.
that? Okay, we'll see. Overruled for now.
Yes,
And that rental car, it was a rental car that these items were found in, right?
I don't recall if it was a rental or not.
Do you remember Miss Quarterman's mother rented the car?
I just stated I don't recall if it was a rental car or not.
Do you remember testifying in this trial previously and watching a video?
Of what?
Maybe you didn't watch the video. Do you remember testifying previously? Or did you ever tell Kenneth Copeland, you can get Miss Quarterman's mother in trouble because she rented that car and there's stolen items in the car? Do you remember that conversation?
I don't. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but at this moment, I don't remember that it was a rental car.
All right. Now, do you remember going back to the August 5, 2015 interview with Mr. Zachary, that he explained that there was a video posted on social media of Mr. Sledge or Muntunk and Mr. Zachary, and it was made threatening Mr. Kelvin Watts, Michelle Kell. Do you remember that?
Yes,
And do you remember Mr. Zachary explaining that that was all about trivia?
yes,
Okay. And do you remember Mr. Zachary denying being slime? Remember that conversation taking place?
yes,
And he saying that there are no rules or loyalty to slime. Do you remember that?
yes,
And do you remember that Mr. Copeland, according to Mr. Zachary, same August 5, 2015, Mr. Copeland and Mr. Sledge or Muntunk shot Mr. Watts or Kelvin Watts on MLK? Remember him telling you that?
yes,
And do you remember that Mr. Zachary shared with you that Mr. Copeland shot at the TGI studios?
yes,
And do you remember that Mr. Kelvin Watts or Shell Kell, Mr. Zachary explained, was shot twice, first by Mr. Sledge and then by Mr. Sledge and Mr. Copeland? You remember that?
that he was shot twice, meaning two separate incidents.
I'm going to do two separate incidents. Yes, he was shot. Mr. Kelvin Watts or Shell Kell was shot first by Mr. Sledge and Mr. Copeland. Remember him saying that? Mr. Zachary saying that?
I don't remember him saying two separate incidents. I remember him saying he was shot at on Martin Luther King, but not a second, not shot at first, and then a second incident.
Do you remember a second time Mr. Kelvin Watts was shot at by Trevante? Remember Mr. Zachary telling you that?
Okay, yeah.
I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Now, you stated earlier that the way I understood it, it would be bad form to allow potential witnesses to get together and speak before law enforcement officers spoke with them. Do you remember something like that?
Bad form? What do you mean bad form?
It's bad procedure. The witnesses can taint each other if they get together.
Yes, I believe that to be true.
And that's why at times when police come onto a scene, they try to separate, if they can, witnesses. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Because you want the most pure statement from each witness and not some sort of, even innocently, tampering or tainting of witnesses.
Correct, the independent recollection of the incident.
Now, in this case, do you remember on June 10th, 2015, explaining to Mr. Copeland that you and your coworkers needed to corroborate, that's a bad word though, but needed to find whether there was information to support what he was saying about other people? Do you remember having those conversations with him?
Yes.
And do you remember Mr. Copeland saying Mr. Garlington would be a good source of corroboration?
I do.
Something like that?
Yes.
And do you remember Detective Thorpe, your coworker, whatever, APD homicide, lead homicide detective on this matter, being present with you and Detective Dennis during this time of that interview?
Not saying he wasn't, but I don't recall.
Do you remember it being discussed where Detective Thorpe, in your presence, and Detective Dennis explained that he would allow Mr. Copeland and Mr. Garlington to speak on a non-recorded line before Mr. Garlington spoke to the police?
This is what Investigator Thorpe said? No, I don't recall that.
Okay. This is already in evidence. Coconut, you have it? You have it? I need the number. You want to have one moment?
Sure.
It's at pages, I have it.
Tap the like button, y'all. I'm here. Salute to everybody in here. Appreciate y'all being here.
Okay. I want to continue on with June 10, 2015 interview between you and Mr. Copeland and others, other investigators. Do you remember from the McDonald's, Mr. Copeland's explained that he's at the McDonald's shortly after the murder? I'm not 8 o'clock, but I'm not sticking to that time, but something like that, on January 10, 2015.
Yes.
And do you remember him explaining that he's in a car with Mr. Garlington and Mr. Demise McMullen, or Nard?
Yes.
And he is following Mr. Slade. No, that's wrong. Mr. O.G. Bentley or Kelvin Treadwell's car to Jeffery Williams' Sky House condo. Do you remember that?
I don't remember him stating he was following someone.
Okay. The Kokomo, can I break your thought?
Let's do.
You
break your thought?
frustrated.
Your Honor, this is already in evidence. It states 278YE as in Aaron. And this is Jeffery Williams 240II. And this is 9:58:14 a.m. to 9:58:46 a.m.
Brian still putting the working on her, ain't he? He feeling bruised up. He putting it on her, man. I swear, man. Brian still doing the number on her, man. Yeah, man. He got her in the full Nelson. She probably ain't never been put in the full Nelson. She gonna have to tap out sing. Ain't no way she gonna hold it. Straight up. She probably used to giving people, putting people in the full Nelson.
So, we don't get on spill. Wait, are they following y'all? Nah, they told us to follow them. Okay, so y'all follow them. Yeah, but when you told me, I said, no, I ain't gonna follow them. But I didn't even get out cover. I'm trying to keep these, I see what the hell going on. Boom. So we followed them to the store. They stayed downtown on the Sky House.
That boy telling so much the camera can't even keep him in focus. He glitching. The camera don't know what to do with y'all. It's like he ain't even hear him and he telling so much.
I followed them down there. So I followed them down there. See, door didn't get up. So now I got covered.
Were you able to understand that?
Yeah, I remember this in the video.
Okay. And
Yo,
is
that
it
boy trying
accurate?
so hard to get out of jail. The pixels can't keep up with him, bro. Yo, he's literally fading away from being in jail. You see that? It's like Star Trek, like you got in the little beam joint, but it works slower because he's telling. So he got to work his way to fade. Like, bro, he is essentially about to go into the future or something right now, bro. Do you see this? Bro, this is crazy. Like, what kind of room is this? This is a special room he in. Yeah.
To say, I'm not saying it's accurate in life, but is it accurate to say Mr. Copeland told you that he was following Mr.
He was about to go
O.G.
through the
Bentley's
wall.
car to the Sky House where Jeffery Williams lives?
He said them. I don't remember him saying O.G. Bentley or Bentley's name.
Okay. Let's do this one, then it might put in context. Your Honor, it's the same State's Exhibit 278YE. This is Jeffery Williams 240JJ. The times are 2:57:47 to 2:57:58 p.m.
That boy jumped. Yo, quantum leaped. That boy quantum leaped in the interrogation room.
When did Bentley pull up? He didn't say Bentley's name. Yeah, he was driving the white truck. He the one who took them to the Sky House. I didn't say. Okay. So they called Bentley.
That boy got the shit on like a telling monk.
This was two separate times of the interview.
Correct. You're saying that this is not from the McDonald's to the Sky House?
So I don't know where you're going with this. I'm kind of confused. You're showing two different clips with two different contexts.
Look,
well, if you don't remember, that's fine.
I just stated I'm confused because this is two separate clips from two totally separate parts of the interview.
Sure. But does this help you, to help the jury, that Mr. Copeland told you that he followed Mr. O.G. Bentley or Kelvin Treadwell to Jeffrey's home from the McDonald's? If it doesn't help, you just say it doesn't.
Sir, we all just heard him just say that, but in the context that you're putting it in, it's a little confusing because this is two separate parts of the interview.
Oh.
Well, from your knowledge of the interview and this case, is that what Mr. Copeland said?
That's what he just stated on there, yes.
Okay. Then I want to go back to the original question I asked about the interviewing Mr.
Who horrible?
allowing Mr. Copeland to
Judge,
speak with
what'd she
Mr. Garlington?
I know what
on
she
the
said. I
non-recorded
know she ain't just
lecture.
admonished the attorney.
Then I want to go back to the original question I asked about the
What? 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 You can't keep your cool? So you really was lining dudes up. You can't even keep your cool, and this is your job to testify and get you. And lawyers gonna press you for their clients. So you must don't agree with law, cause lady, you ain't getting pressed right now. Nothing that's out of bounds of the scope of what you signed up for. So what you mean this lawyer is terrible? He's actually very pleasant. I really don't like your attitude right now, Missy. And when I speak of Missy, you remind me of Missy. You just can't dance. No wonder you turned into a police lady.
allowing Mr. Copeland to speak with Mr. Garlington on a non-recorded line, okay?
I don't believe I stated.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Judge. May we approach briefly, please?
Yes.
That's crazy. She tripping. Yeah,
Your
we got
Honor,
some smoke.
I'm going to ask you to address the witness and speak to the witness, and also, quite frankly, to speak to the DA as well. Because of the way everyone is positioned, they're obviously closer to the jury than anybody else. Their microphones are live, and what they say can be picked up on a microphone. A couple of times.
Sorry, who? The state says at their table?
And what the witness is saying. And there have been at least 3 occasions where the witness has either before or after a question muttered something and said something into the microphone that can be picked up.
Thank you.
Well, I certainly haven't heard it. I can barely hear the answer.
That's because you got old ears.
I am not the only one who's heard it. At that last exchange, I heard her say something. I couldn't make out what she said.
No, I heard her, Adams. She said, still terrible. I ain't no teller. But don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy. Relax.
Into the microphone. I guess she was frustrated after the question. And it's being picked up by the microphone. And if I can hear her muttering over here, whatever she's saying can be heard to the jury. And it's just inappropriate. I think it's simple enough to tell her to not make any extraneous comments that can possibly be picked up by the jury. Same thing for the state. And we've actually addressed this before prior to this court's involvement in the case, where there have been times where the state, either out of frustration or who knows why they're doing it, says something or they're making faces and they're saying something that can be picked up by the microphone. And because they're that close to the jury, I'm sure the jury can hear it too. So I'm just asking, as I've asked before, and as they have been told before, to be mindful of the things that they say and the fact that it can be picked up by the jury.
I can't say that I heard this because I was in the middle of everything, but I've been told by multiple sources that once my cross-examination was finished and Mr. STEELE was going to begin, the witness said horrible.
Horrible?
Horrible.
What? Okay.
And she's sitting right next to the jury.
Yo, that's a real linebacker back there, ain't he?
Or the state is saying things like that and the jury hears them, I cannot imagine that reflects well on either of them.
Your Honor, I have to say, I would ask that presumptions based on assertions by counsel for opposing for the defendants not be taken as true and then spoken as if they are by this honorable court, because I have no idea what Mr. Adams is talking about.
That's cap, y'all. That lady was strong as a Monjon, bro. No, we not doing that, bro. No. If everybody can hear that static, then everybody heard Shorty on the stand. Stop playing. I'm an expert in audio. Listen, Shorty said that at the same volume on the same equipment that everybody be hearing that makes somebody stop when they hear the static in the mics, y'all. Stop playing. Yeah, you thought I wasn't? Man, I get you. What you thought I really didn't spend 20 years in the studio? Man, I'm an animal with this, man. Stop playing. Stop playing, man. Stop playing with me, man. Nah, man, we ain't doing that, man. Nah, we ain't doing that. They ain't heard that. Nah, we not doing that. We not doing that, y'all. I didn't let a couple people slide. They done said they ain't hear it. Cap.
I have not heard any mutterings. I don't know what Mr. Shard is talking about.
Man, get her
the
out of
state
here.
does not have the luxury to sit here and say what it believes someone from the defense is doing without it being cut off quickly. So I'd ask that the court not act on what is being asserted by counsel for the defendants as we...
Bro, tell the stenographer bring the transcripts up. Shorty said it so loud the stenographer typed it. Shorty said it so loud the stenographer typed it. Sure, they didn't drop the ball, y'all. Stenographer ain't say nothing. She know in good and goddamn, I know good and God. She typed it, y'all. That's how loud it was. I know she typed it. Yo, it was too clear to not type.
stop these proceedings to address something nobody heard, but apparently Mr. Adams.
Fortunately,
And Mr. Sharp.
This trial is televised.
And Your Honor,
You know what? I'm going to stick with what I said before, which is if a witness wants to present themselves in that way in front of the jury, that is a reflection on that witness, and the jury can evaluate that.
Whoa, that's prejudicial against my client and the goddamn attorneys. Shorty going, no, and she out of professional capacity, even though she retired. What are we doing, Judge? You be trying to hold these lawyers accountable to keeping some type of morale in the courtroom, and Shorty, an ex-police that's up here, an expert testifying. What are we doing? No.
So, no, I'm not going to advise her or any other witness one way or, well, depends on what they say. And I didn't actually hear anything, but no, if she wants to make derogatory comments, then that is a poor reflection on her. And the jury, if they heard it, will notice it. And to the extent, I haven't. Was that basically just about this witness?
It was about the witness and about the prosecution. And let's be
Who's
clear.
doing this, or you believe is doing something like this right now?
Yes, and who has done it before? I'm not just saying that. The court has addressed it before because it's happened before. So we're not making this up. She was admonished previously by the prior court to stop doing that.
And you're saying she's doing it again, and it is...
Why you playing dumb, Judge? Come on, man.
...is making faces and or comments.
Making faces, making comments. It can be picked up by the microphone. These mics are live. And as Mr. Short pointed out, luckily, this trial is being televised and live streamed.
I don't know why that's lucky, because the jury is not going to watch the live stream.
I'm not talking about I'm saying...
I mean, the jury is the one deciding this case.
The person making the complaint about the behavior is the defendants. And I'm in support of what I'm saying. I'm telling you that we are not the only ones who have noticed this. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well,
Your Honor, and I would ask, I have asked that the microphone not be close to counsel's table over here behind, so that
which microphone are y'all even talking about?
anyone that can pick up.
It's your whoa. Here I go again. Yeah, expert posted. Audio expert posted. She's capping. It ain't no mic. This camera don't got no mic, so stop blaming it on media. The mics is in the courtroom, lady. You got a button to control your mic. The mic is on you now. You got a lapel mic and you got a wireless mic that's on your desktop that has a button to turn on and off. You are in control of your mic. So don't complain and try to point it out like it's the media. Stop that, lady. It's you in control of your mic. Stop. And the mic that they complaining about Gaither was talking on is the one at the stand, lady. So stop talking about that. You getting heard from you not pressing the button when y'all be over there muttering. Stop.
At the state's table, because I'm not trying to have our
No, it shouldn't be. You all,
That's-
any attorneys ought to be able to talk to each other at their table privately without anything being picked up. So I don't know if that means y'all want to turn off your mic because we're in a big, awkward courtroom
Exactly.
where nobody can hear anybody sometimes, but then apparently people can hear mutterings under the breath other times. So
we have it off. I've unhooked this, even though it was off. I don't want anything said at council table heard.
all right.
Period.
And then I don't know what the situation is with the mics that are on the back table, whether those are off.
No,
They're authorized.
Okay.
Sometimes it is. What we learned the last time, if that mic is on,
That mic being the podium mic, which has to be on.
so we have to be more conscious. Sometimes the podium mic can pick up our conversations because we're closest to.
Mr. Maurice has something to add, and maybe he knows because he's a media guy.
I'm not picking up our conversation. You can hear a witness. She's left a couple remarks towards the end of her.
Y'all, I guess because y'all are plugged straight into the system, y'all get to hear way more than we get to through the ambient air.
But we're not picking up any of their conversations.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Well, I mean, I wish we could
That's how it's
hear
supposed
as
to be.
well as the live stream apparently can, but there's nothing that can be done about that. All right. Anybody need to use the restroom? Well,
Took guns that were used in this killing?
Yes.
And do you have anything to corroborate that O.G. Bentley or Kelvin Treadwell took guns that were involved in this killing?
No, other than what Mr. Zachary said, no.
And with regards to Kelvin Treadwell or O.G. Bentley, if you know through your investigation, did he have a child with Donovan Thomas's sister?
That's what I heard.
And did he have a second child with Donovan Thomas's sister a year plus after the death, God forbid, of Donovan Thomas?
I don't know.
Okay. I want to go back to Florida, January 11th, 12th, 13th, that time range, shortly after, the days after, and the weeks maybe after Mr. Thomas, God forbid, was the victim of this homicide. Now, I want you to lock in on that, okay? Tell the jury through your investigation where Jeffery Williams was staying in the state of Florida while he was working.
I was not the lead investigator on Donovan Thomas's homicide, so therefore I would not be able to answer that.
You or your teammates, tell the jurors where he was staying. That information.
I don't know.
I can't hear you.
I don't know.
Was Jeffery Williams, do you have any information, Jeffery Williams was staying in the state of Florida in the same location as Kenneth Copeland?
I don't have any information that Jeffery Williams was even in Florida. Confirmed information that he was even there.
Did you ever, the cell phone records you got of Jeffery Williams?
What? What? What'd you just say?
Phone?
I did not get cell phone records for Jeffery Williams' phone.
Did your partners get cell phone records for Jeffery Williams' phone?
I can't speak what anybody else did. I did not get records for Mr. Williams' phone.
Did you ever plot, you, maybe not, but your coworkers, Jeffery Williams' phone going to Florida?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. The witness has been asked and answered multiple times and has stated she does not know of any records or does not know of Mr. Williams' whereabouts.
Hold on. Ain't the state's case being presented that this boy was down in Florida with everybody else? And did she just say she don't know? She ain't never confirmed that? She don't know? Is that what just happened, y'all? We been here for 100 and how many days? And the word been, yeah, they went to Miami. That's how you know they did it. But Shorty hollered, nah, I ain't never confirmed. Is that what just happened?
Asked and answered is the objection.
Sustained.
Do you know where Kenneth Copeland was staying in the state of Florida?
I don't.
How about any of the other people? We could list them singularly or collectively. Demise McMullen.
I don't know where any member of YSL was staying while they were in Florida
How
in
about
January
this?
2015.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I interrupted.
No, I'm not finished.
Okay.
Did you get that, man?
What was Jeffery Williams' schedule on the 11th of January 2015, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, etc.?
I don't know.
Did you ever look into that?
No.
Did you ever speak with Jeffery Williams' manager?
No.
Did you ever speak with his lawyers?
She drunk some milk. Her voice is smooth.
I had no reason.
I'm talking about business lawyers.
I had no reason.
Did you ever speak with the accountants?
I had no reason.
You went through Jeffery Williams' financial records, correct?
No.
You never did that?
I never did that.
Did you have somebody do?
I didn't have anyone look into any financial records for Mr. Williams.
Did you get his financial records? You or a member of your team?
I can't speak for what anyone else did.
To your knowledge.
I don't know. I did not.
Oh, he heating up.
How much contact through your investigation did Jeffery Williams have with Kenneth Copeland or Mr. Zachary or Demise McMullen or any of these other people that you're talking about?
Which investigation? There were, I believe, 28 of them.
January 10th, 2015, January 11th, up till when you left the office.
I was not the primary investigator on the January 10th murder of Donovan Thomas. That was Investigator Thorpe.
Right. We got
So I did not receive any phone records or anything regarding Mr. Williams and who he contacted.
Yo.
I believe I asked you, and just tell me if I got this inaccurate, but I believe I asked you the night that Donovan Thomas was killed, and you're speaking with Mr. Zachary, he was at Jeffery Williams' home, whether when people were allegedly saying what they knew or supposed involvement on the killing of Donovan Thomas, whether Jeffery Williams was already gone from his Sky House. Remember those questions I asked you?
Yes, I believe you already asked me that.
And I have that you didn't answer that. Was he already gone according to Mr. Zachary?
I believe I did answer that.
And am I correct? He already left according to Mr. Zachary, when those conversations were occurring?
I believe that was asked and answered, and I believe that the video is the best evidence. So objection.
All right, I can't really hear you without the mic. Sorry.
I believe that I object, asked and answered, best evidence. Asked and answered just a moment ago.
Talk to me like I'm dumb.
I don't think it was answered.
Go ahead.
The actual question. Is it true that Mr. Zachary said Jeffery Williams was already gone from his apartment?
I believe I stated I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. Do you remember the April 26, 2015 tour bus shooting incident I'm talking about, okay? Do you remember during this interview with Mr. Zachary that Detective Dennis, you and Mr. Zachary were talking about whether Jeffery Williams was called on FaceTime during that night?
Yes.
And do you remember Mr. Zachary saying that Jeffery Williams did not answer?
Yes.
Do you remember Mr. Zachary explaining that Jeffery Williams looks up to Lil Wayne or Dwayne Carter, the performer?
I believe you already asked me that.
And it's the answer yes?
I've already answered that, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so you answer the question unless there's an objection, and
Your Honor, there is.
it's not up to you to decide what to answer and what not to. Yes, ma'am.
The objection was asked, answered, and just before we went on break, and best evidence, it was also played in the video.
Sustained.
Your Honor, thank you very much.
Okay. Any questions from any of the other defense attorneys? Nope. Okay.
Bro, So Miss Love just got her boots waxed. We just watched the that might have been the best cross exam of the whole trial, y'all. Real rap, no exaggeration. Brian Steele successfully just dismantled the whole RICO, all of the elements that would connect to Young Thug and make it an actual gang RICO with Young Thug at the top. He just bust her. Y'all. Game over. Trial, man, look, right?